Every day, you do something that feels completely normal. You walk into a room, you close the door, and you don't even think about it. But thousands of years ago, there were no doors, no locks, no handles, nothing separating humans from the outside world. If it was cold, the cold came in. If insects wanted to enter, they entered. And if a hungry animal was outside, well, there was no button to lock the cave. So who was the first human who looked at an open entrance and thought, maybe we should close this thing? This is the strange story of how humans invented the door and how a simple piece of wood changed the way humans lived forever. Long before houses, bedrooms, and front doors existed, humans had a very different relationship with the outside world. Today, when night comes, we simply walk inside, close the door, and feel safe. But early humans did not have that luxury. When the sun disappeared, the world changed. It became darker, colder, and much less friendly. Imagine trying to rest after a long day. You find a cave or a simple shelter. You start relaxing. Everything seems peaceful. And then, you hear something outside. A branch breaks. Something moves near the entrance. And you are lying there thinking, was that just the wind or something with teeth? Because without a door, an entrance was not really an entrance. It was just an opening where anything could come inside. For early humans, creating a barrier was not about decoration or comfort. It was about making the night a little less dangerous. But the first doors were probably nothing like the doors we imagine today. Nobody suddenly appeared with perfectly cut wood, metal hinges, and a little handle saying, "Look everyone, I invented the front door." The first solutions were much simpler. Humans looked around and used whatever nature provided. A large animal skin could cover an opening. Branches could block part of an entrance. Heavy stones could create a simple barrier. Basically, the first door was just humans saying, I like the outside world, but maybe not inside my sleeping area. It was not beautiful, it was not advanced, and it definitely would not impress anyone today. But that simple idea was a huge step, because humans created something different from a wall. A wall only blocks. A door gives you a choice. Open when the world is safe, close when it is not. But as humans changed, their shelters changed too. For a long time, a shelter was just a temporary place, somewhere to hide from bad weather, somewhere to sleep safely for the night. But slowly, humans started creating places they returned to again and again. They improved their shelters, they stored food, they created tools, they collected things that were useful. And something interesting happened. A simple shelter became something much more important. It became home. And once humans had a home, they had something they wanted to protect. Because imagine spending hours creating a tool, carefully leaving it inside your shelter, and then coming back to discover that someone else took it. Or even worse, a curious animal walked in and decided your food storage was now its dinner. Suddenly, a stronger door sounded like a very good idea. This is when humans started improving the idea of the door. A piece of animal skin was useful. It could block some wind. It could make a shelter feel warmer. And it probably stopped a few insects from flying directly into your face at night, which was already a pretty nice improvement. But humans wanted something stronger, something that could protect, something that could last. So they began using one of the most important materials in human history: wood. Wood was strong enough to create a barrier, but light enough that humans could move it. And this made the door different from everything before. A stone wall could protect you, but it also trapped you. A wooden door could do something much smarter. It could open, and it could close. A simple moving wall changed the way humans thought about their homes. As humans began building villages and the first civilizations appeared, doors became more advanced. People learned how to cut wood, how to connect pieces together, how to create entrances that were stronger and more useful. Ancient doors were not always perfectly smooth or beautiful like modern ones. They were heavy, simple, and built for survival. Imagine closing one of these early wooden doors at night. No quiet little click, no soft modern design. Just a heavy piece of wood telling everything outside. Not tonight. But even these simple doors represented something huge. Humans were no longer only finding safe places in nature, they were building their own safe places. But once humans learned how to build better doors, something unexpected happened. Doors stopped being only about survival. They became part of human culture. Ancient civilizations started creating doors that were not just strong, but impressive. Because a door was the first thing someone saw before entering, before they saw your home, before they saw your belongings, before they saw who you were. They saw your door. Important buildings had larger entrances. Temples and palaces had doors designed to show power and importance. Imagine being an ancient ruler with a giant building, beautiful decorations, and treasures inside. You probably were not going to use a few random branches as your front door. Humans had turned a simple survival tool into something that could tell a story. But there was still one funny problem. Humans had created the door. They could finally close their homes. protect their food, protect their tools. Everything seemed perfect, except for one small detail. Other humans also knew how doors worked. A door could stop the wind. A door could stop rain. A door could stop an animal that did not understand what was happening. But another person could simply walk up and open it. Imagine proudly inventing the first door. You close it. You walk away feeling like a genius. And 5 minutes later, someone just opens it. That was probably the moment humans realized, okay, now we need a way to stop that too. And this is how another important invention became connected to doors: the lock. Humans did not just want to close an entrance anymore. They wanted to decide who could open it. And locks are much older than many people imagine. Thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations were already creating clever locking systems. Some of the earliest known locks were made from wood, and the keys were nothing like the small keys we carry today. Some ancient keys were large, heavy, and honestly, a little ridiculous looking. Imagine leaving your house and carrying a giant wooden key around. It was probably not very comfortable, but at least nobody could say, "I lost my key somewhere in my pocket." But maybe the biggest change doors created was something we almost never think about: privacy. Today, closing a door feels completely normal. You close your bedroom door. You close the bathroom door. You close the door when you want a quiet moment. But for much of human history, people lived much closer together. Families shared the same spaces. Communities spent most of their time around each other. Being completely alone was not always easy. Imagine trying to relax while everyone around you can see and hear everything you do. Not exactly the peaceful evening we imagine today. Doors created something new. A small space that belonged only to you. A place where the outside world stopped, even if just for a little while. Thousands of years passed, but humans never stopped improving the door. The basic idea stayed the same: open, close, protect what is inside. But the materials changed. Simple wood became stronger designs. Metal made doors harder to break. Glass allowed people to separate spaces without blocking light. And eventually, doors started opening by themselves. Imagine showing an automatic door to someone thousands of years ago. They walk toward it. It magically opens, and they probably think the cave is alive. Today we have doors with sensors, codes, cameras, and smart locks. But deep down, they are still solving the same ancient problem. And there is another interesting reason why humans still love doors. Our brains understand spaces. A door does not only change a room, it changes how we feel inside that room. When you close a door, the noisy world becomes quieter. A busy place becomes separate. A simple room becomes your space. That small movement tells your brain, you are somewhere else now. Maybe that is why closing your bedroom door after a long day feels different. It is not just wood moving, it is a signal. A tiny reminder that, at least for a moment, this little space belongs to you. So, who actually invented the door? The answer is probably not one person. There was no ancient human standing proudly next to the first wooden door saying, "I have changed houses forever." Instead, the door was created slowly, by many different humans, across many different places. Every generation improved one small thing: a stronger barrier, a better entrance, a safer home. From a simple animal skin covering a shelter, to wooden doors protecting ancient homes, to the smart doors we use today, the door has changed thousands of times, but the reason behind it has always stayed the same. Because humans were never just trying to block an entrance, they were creating a boundary. A line between the outside world and their own little world. The first door did not just keep things out. It created something humans still search for today. A place where we feel safe. A place that belongs to us. A place we can finally call home.